Get strong.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the True Blues podcast. And you join us the day after a fantastic Chelsea display at the Bridge against Real Madrid.
Oh, the fucking CHELS. Come on.
I mean, it's a superb performance, really, wasn't it, all in all? I mean, I'm just going to throw it out here straight away. I can't give anyone on that pitch at least like less than an 8. I can't give anyone.
No, me neither.
Throwing it out there. I don't even.
God, there'll be 9.2s all over the place.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them.
I felt like driving outside the kebab shop just to get a feeling of Istanbul a few weeks earlier. I was loving it.
Oh mate, it was just a brilliant performance. I'm not gonna lie, we'll touch on it a bit later on, but I was a little bit scared when Jorginho got booked early doors for taking down Hazard. I was like, oh no, here we go. But I mean, it was just everyone on that pitch was superb, and I actually had a message from one of my mates, and he said, do you think Chelsea can challenge for the league next year? And I don't know if we can quite get there, but I mean, watching that performance, it's exciting to be a Chelsea fan at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I think it might have been Jamie Carragher come out and said he reckons we're going to win the league next year. One of the big channel pundits come out yesterday morning before the game and said he reckons we'll win the league next year. I don't see why not. We signed a few backup players, a bit more depth. I think we're struggling a bit in centre mid. We signed another centre mid that could do a bit of both, because like Kovacic is obviously injured at the minute. But we signed someone else who can just fill in, do a job. Obviously, there's rumours of Jorginho being out the door. Thanks to Juve, back to Napoli.
I think with his reaction though last night, bless him, he suddenly went up in my estimations when he was, bless him, crying on the floor of Stamford Bridge. I was just like, he might say certain things that we disagree with. He might do certain things on the pitch we disagree with, but that is someone who clearly has a lot of respect for the badge and probably plays for the badge, to be fair. So fair play to him.
He does. Yeah, right. I think I'm going to have to take the Judas comment back until the next time.
I'm probably going to have to do the same with Tony, mate, to be honest, because Tony's, mate, since Double T's come in, he genuinely hasn't put a foot wrong. But yeah.
From the own goal he scored.
Of course. Okay, good point. Right, moving on.
He definitely put a foot wrong there.
Moving on, we shall jump into our player ratings. This one, I think the first one for me is potentially the hardest one, because he didn't have a lot to do, good old Edouard Mendy, but when he did, he made 2 pretty outstanding saves, didn't he? That first one from the Karim Benzema snapshot was unbelievable save.
I reckon the one from the header was even better. The one where it got whipped in, because Benzema hasn't even put power on that. He puts power on that in the corner. That's a goal. He's tried to guide it round him. Mendy's going the other way because he thinks he's trying to drill it the other way, and just having to like adjust a bit and tip it over the bar. Fucking Benzema must have been devastated yesterday. He was like, I'll probably bag a few against a normal goalie, and this cunt's just flying around all over the place doing what he wants.
Literally, I can't remember who it was. Mika, I think it was. I want to say Mika Richards even said, no, it wasn't him. It was Jason Cundy, actually, on TalkSport, I'm pretty sure. He said that if Chelsea had Karim Benzema last night, probably would have been 5-0.
It should have been 5-0 anyway.
Yeah.
26-0 if we had Benzema up front.
Yeah, I know. But superb from Edouard Mendy. I don't think there's really much to talk about. I've always been more confident with the ball at his feet. But overall, what's your rating, Kieran? Because I'm not really sure what to give him.
8.5. Solid. Made good saves. Didn't really have much to do after that. Everybody else was pretty pants except from Benzema.
Yep, agreed. Next one, we'll go for the captain of the team, good old Dave, who I thought was pretty good again, to be fair. He's proving me wrong. I sort of see him at right back and I'm like, God, I don't know if he has the pace anymore. You don't need the pace because he just defends brilliantly. And I hope he's also, you mentioned about Jorginho being linked to him either way, so is Dave, and I really hope he doesn't. What am I going to give Dave? Probably 8.5. I don't know. What are you thinking?
8.5, mate. Yeah, I'll sit with you on that. He wasn't as good as he was in the first leg, but everybody else was that notch higher that he didn't need to be. He put a wonderful cross for that Havertz header that hit the ball. hit the bar.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
That remind me of Morata, the early days of Morata, where you'd see Dave about 40 yards deep, you just look up and whip an early crossing because he knew someone was at the end of it. I think Kai Havertz really did a job for like Dave's performance yesterday, because Dave could just put the ball in and he knew Havertz would just be flying in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say 8.5. He was solid defensively. Hazard didn't really get too much done yesterday.
Neither did
he contained.
Yeah, I was going to say Ferland Mendy didn't get forward at all, really, did he?
No, he didn't really have an opportunity, did he?
No,
He had a lot of defending to do. Militao was giving him two people's jobs all night. That useless wanker. Like Militao and Nacho, really.
I thought Nacho was
really,
far worse than Militao, to be fair. I thought Militao first leg was really good. Obviously, last night he weren't great, but, you know, yeah, you're not wrong. He did struggle a bit.
Yeah, what do you reckon for Dave? 8.5. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think
I'm going
better
8.5 as well. Yeah, you're correct there, mate. I agree with you. I'll go for an 8.5 for Dave. Go Christensen next. I think he's going to have to get an 8. I hate to be boring, but I think he's going to have to get an 8.5 as well. I don't know. He just did everything well. He didn't. I don't think he made a mistake last night, did he?
Didn't have much to do, really. I don't think he dealt with Benzema on a few occasions. He let him go for that header. He let him drift in behind a little bit. I think that's why, for me, I give him an 8. I just think that's where you see like faults in his game. His positioning's a bit at times. I think in a 3 at the back, he is very solid, but also he gets a bit complacent and stops tracking runs because he thinks too many people are behind him, when he's quite suited to sweeping it up and travelling with the ball. I think that's the best bet for him in a back 3.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He is better in that centre back role. I think he has done all right though, playing in that right centre back role though, to be fair to him.
Yeah, he can't really play down the middle of Thiago Silva's there because he's a bit slower, so we need him in the middle to sit a bit deeper. And I think Thiago Silva is the best sort of mentor for a player like Christensen. He's just got to look at him and go, I want to be that good in a few years' time. It's not saying 5-6 years' time. We've lost 3 of them years to him doing fuck all. So like he's got to get a move on a little bit. But I think Thiago Silva has been a good mentor and a good player to learn from. I thought Christensen was good. I think he was the least effective of the back 3 for me.
Yeah, probably.
But they didn't really challenge us that much. It's just Benzema. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like we said after the last game. You can't really count him out. He's just ridiculous how good he is, isn't he?
Yeah. He's actually a really underrated player. There's, like you said, I mean, defensive is a tricky one because they didn't, like you said, didn't have that much to do. So there's not really that much to talk about. So we'll go to Thiago Silva now. God, I don't even know what to give him. I just love the way he plays football, though. He's so classy, the way he plays. And I said to my dad last night, I didn't realise how good he was until I saw him play for Chelsea. And this is when he's sort of starting to slow up a bit, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm a really big fan of his.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine how good he'd be if he played for us like 7-8 years ago when he signed for like PSG, when he's in his like peak at AC Milan. He'd have been ridiculous. Yeah, he was good. I just loved it at the end of the game, praying, crying on the pitch. And he loves Chelsea already as well, which is the best part about it. He absolutely loves playing for Chelsea. Yeah. Like I couldn't see him at any other club in England, just like that. He had so many options to go wherever he wanted. Comes to us and he loves it there already. Obviously got an amazing relationship with Tuchel, which was obviously quite helpful. And to be fair, out of our centre halves, he's played the least out of all of them. And that was his fucking go-to guy at PSG. But yeah, I thought he was class. I give him a 9. I think he's just brilliant. Like you said, he's just classy. I think he makes everybody feel a bit safer when he's playing.
Definitely.
Look at Kurt Zouma. Kurt Zouma was one of the best centre backs in the league for the first 3 months of the year.
Yeah, I also think he makes the keeper better. Mendy, he helps him play out from the back, just his positioning to receive the ball and whatnot. I think Christensen is pretty good at that, but he's not as good as Thiago Silva. And I think, he just adds something different. Because almost like sometimes Mendy's passing isn't the greatest. So Thiago Silva, as we saw against Fulham, picked up the ball, little double A-ron, flip and launch the ball up down the pitch. Mason Mount plugs it out to Scarlett, primes it down, and then Bob's your uncle. Like he's definitely a brilliant player for us to have. And if we're going to give Thiago Silva a 9, I'm actually going to give Tony a 9 as well. might be a bit high.
Yeah.
But I just loved his desire to go forward. There was one point where I think he almost should have. I think Timo could have played him in actually, and he made a bursting run forward, and then he could have just. I know Marcus Alonso's a brilliant example of this. He would have just jogged back, but Tony sprinted up the pitch, sprinted back, got back in position. Yeah, he's been immense for us the last sort of 20 games. So yeah, he gets a 9 for me.
Yeah, me too. 9. He's brilliant. Again, I think arguably he was the best. He's one of the best players we had on the pitch yesterday. I think outside of a couple of people we're going to get onto in a little bit, I think Rudiger top 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe push it to 5. But he's one of those. He's one of the best players on the pitch. It's just a few instances where he was a bit slow getting back when they tried to counter, but it didn't really mean anything because he had 2 other lads doing a fantastic job behind him. Yeah,
you're not wrong. Yeah, nothing really else to add because it's just they didn't have any attacking threat really. He was on the sort of the left-hand side with Chile against Vinicius Junior, who was sort of playing out of position, sort of it looked like a wing-back role, and they both just bullied him, to be honest. Chile in particular, who I thought was outstanding really. And every time I watch him, I think he is getting better. And it's actually a sort of brilliant to see because when Tuchel first came in, he couldn't get in the team at all really. It was Alonso who was getting the sort of the starts. I think Chilwell even got subbed off like relatively early doors against Sheffield United, bottom of the table in one of the games. But he's come back.
Yeah, it's like half time.
Yeah, and he's come back and he's been absolutely sublime. I really do. I am a big fan of his. I'm going to give him 9.2, I think, just because of how well he handled Vinicius Junior.
What a number! What a number. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that. Yeah, 9.2. I think what his class. Vinicius Junior for me was one of their bigger threats in the first leg.
Yeah.
Just his pace and his skill and his youth, and he's so agile that just blink and he's gone. I thought Chile just showed him he's got a lot to learn in high level football still. Like not in a way like he's shit. He's a very good player and he's got a lot to look forward to in the future with the players he can learn from at Madrid. Like when he gets into the system up in Brazil with like Neymar and all them boys, he's got a lot to learn from some really great players. And like Madrid, like he's got a lot to learn, like Hazard, players like Modric and things. I just teach him a lot about the game. But he was shown yesterday to have a lot to learn. Still, there's quality. And Chile is not that old himself. He's 23, 24.
Yeah,
about the same age as us. But he's just played high level for so long that he plays in the hardest league in the world. So it was a learning experience for him. I imagine he's got a lot to take away from that game.
I agree, mate. Yeah. I find he links up well with Mount on the left hand side. Really, Chile as well. They've just got a great understanding. Yeah. There's not much I can add. I just hope he continues to sort of grow. Really. Anything to add on Chile? I think that's about it, isn't it? Really.
I think that's everything for Chile, mate.
Yeah. Next, we'll go for our unsung hero of the game. I think Jorginho, we touched on him earlier, a bit concerned about him picking up a yellow early doors against Hazard. We knew it was coming at some point in the game, but he was absolutely sublime. I thought Jorginho last night just didn't do anything crazy good, but just did his job. I think him and Kante are actually growing into a lovely little partnership in there. They're starting to understand. Like it's funny because like Kante was always seen as a CDM. He still kind of is, but he will play far further forward than Jorginho. I mean, sometimes
because it takes him half the time to get there.
Sometimes it's scary, but yeah, I thought Jorginho was actually sublime last night. Give him a 9.4, I think. 9.4 for Jorginho.
He's brilliant. Pulling the strings, as I'd say, just pulling the strings in there. He just creates so much space for people because he doesn't move that much. So like, there's always got to be someone nearby to him. You leave him alone, he'll just travel and move the ball around. Especially with the confidence he's playing with now, like he's got a lot more confidence to just sort of drift forward, play a few passes in behind, and look for that killer ball. I thought he was brilliant. Like, he perfectly complemented the best midfielder on the planet. Like,
Yeah.
nobody will be ready for the shit I'm about to say about the next man. But yeah, Jorginho is brilliant. I'd have to go probably a little bit lower than you, probably a 9.2.
Yeah. I was going to give him
pulled the
that, but I
strings.
thought he was just a bit better than Chile, just about. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think he didn't really contain. But then again, fucking Luka Modric and Kroos just went missing again yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. That just shows sort of like how good Jorginho was. That there was three of them in there, sort of. Don't want to say best midfielders of a generation, but I think Kroos is a bit like really underrated as a player. Like that midfield trio of Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, they've won 4 Champions Leagues together. They're going to be, they're in the history books. They're quality players, and they couldn't get in the game at all yesterday. Yeah, it just showed how good our midfield was, really.
Be a very interesting battle between Gundogan and Rodri, and Jorginho and Kante. It'll be a very good battle in the final. I think a lot of the game will be won in that midfield.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, mate. Yeah, we got them on Saturday as well, so it's interesting times.
Preview. We only beat them a couple of weeks ago. We can do it again.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
We were on the back of not less than ideal results when we beat them the last time, and now look at us. We're flying. We're probably playing the best football we have in the last 2 years since Sarri left. We're probably playing the best football. Even before that, this is the best football we've been playing since Antonio Conte was in charge, I think.
Yeah,
with Fabregas and Diego Costa and like the boys like that, I think this is the best we've played since then.
Yeah, mate. There's some confidence sort of flying. I think we do play better against the bigger teams as well because they give us more space to work with. I sometimes find we do lack a bit of creativity when, for example, it's not just him, but Timo can't make the running behind, or people struggle to get that ball in behind to him because the opposition are so defensively deep. So I think that's something we could work on. But it's exciting times. Anything else to add on your mate Jorginho? I can tell you're just itching to talk about N'Golo Kante. So stage is yours, Kieran.
Oh, where do I start? He's the best midfield player in the world. Fuck Bruno Fernandes, fuck De Bruyne, fuck Busquets, fucking Modric, Kroos. Modric and Kroos have been in his pocket for 2 weeks. They're getting mouldy at this point. They're getting old. He's about to retire 2 of the best midfielders in the world after just putting him in the bin for 2 games in a row. He's fucking everywhere. He's probably in my back garden at the minute, just still running around. Like, he's there. He's back to the bridge. He's running all over the gap. He is the best midfield player on the planet. He proved it time and time again. He's a big game player. He always has been. He always will be. Nothing will change. 30 mil. I'd pay 30 bill for him. I don't care.
He's good.
I'd buy him back. If that man's children will be the best football players in the world if they have a work ethic like him. Jesus Christ. It was just everything he did yesterday. Every time the ball was loose, it was like, no, it's not. Kante's got it. The second goal, bang. It's like you said, like we were saying earlier, you popped to the toilet, it's a goal kick. All of a sudden, Mason Mount scored. It's 2-0. Just pounce on it, running forward, making bombing runs forward. Both goals were down to Kante's work.
Yeah.
Plays it through. Havertz hits the crossbar, and then Werner taps in a header. He's just unbelievable, mate. Like, there's not even enough words in the dictionary of any language to say how good he is. I just sat there just in awe, just mouth wide open, like, what the fuck? Like, how is he this good? How in the 85th minute is he closing down?
Yeah.
Like, he's meant to be preserving his energy, sitting deep,
and he
keeping the lead.
bombed forward on the attack,
20 yards
didn't he?
down the pitch, didn't accept the ball. Yeah, it's like we said about him being a DM. He could be a box to box for good now, because he doesn't shoot. He'll leave it to all the people, but he'll spread options because he'll keep going forward. And he's got one in the locker. Like, he's shown Man United enough times anyway. He's got one in the locker. Same as Spurs. Like, there's just not enough words for him. Like, no one can do his job. There's not a single player on the planet I would put in our team ahead of him.
Nah,
not a player
I don't think there's a player in the world that's swap for him, to be honest with you, mate. I know Messi and
Who would you
Ronaldo.
take out from in
Good.
midfield? Yeah, who would you
Yeah.
take out in midfield? Nobody. There is no player in the world that you would take out in the midfield for him because there's no one that can do his job.
Because you could argue, obviously, Messi and Ronaldo score lots and lots of goals, but Messi scored lots of goals this year. Barcelona still struggling. You know, do you know what I mean? Like he just like Fabregas said, he does the job of two people, and that's why Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro couldn't get in the game yesterday because he had Jorginho, Kante, and Kante's shadow in there. It was a 3v3, no space at all. Yeah, he's a brilliant player, and I actually think he's even getting better, mate. This could be some of the best football that I think I've ever seen him play. He was superb for Leicester. He's been superb for us under Conte, but I think this is the best I've ever seen him play. The last, what should we say, month? I know he's been good all year, but the last month he has been incredible. Incredible. I don't think his performance last night was quite as good as the one the week before, or was it against Atletico? I can't remember which one we picked him up.
No, Real Madrid.
It was Real Madrid, the first leg, wasn't it? Yeah. Don't think it was quite that good, but he was immense last night. Maybe that's because I don't know, other people stepped up to the plate last night. It was more of a team performance. I don't know, but yeah, he was still sublime, and he's my favourite player for Chelsea.
I'll get through the rain 10.
I'm actually going to be a bit stingy, and because I'll just agree with you because of the work he did for the both goals. Yeah, I'll agree with you. 10, mate. 10.
10. Best player in the world. Just any right now. Like there's just I can't even. I want his kids. That's just marry me. Can't say happily. Please. What a bloke. The nicest bloke in the world as well. That's the best part about it.
In his Mini Cooper, bless him.
Nicest bloke in the world. The little Mini Cooper, pay me like a normal person. Yeah.
And then he was honking his horn as the Chelsea fans were there, spraying champagne on his car.
He's just the best. He's the best bloke in the world, and he's just what a man. Definitely. What a man.
We'll go for a sort of another midfielder, big boy Mason Mount. Another solid performance from him. I genuinely thinking about it. I don't think I've ever seen the bloke play badly. Got on the score sheet last night. He's another one sort of developing every game. Yeah, he's just superb player. Don't think it was his best performance, but he was still pretty good. So, but yeah, Mason Mount. He just did what Mason Mount does. And I'll tell you what, I know you're got your Irish roots, but it's an exciting prospect having for England to have a midfield of Declan Rice, Phil Foden, and Mason Mount. Because yeah, that could be scary good. But we can all that for now.
Yeah, not that fanny Jack Grealish. I still don't know why that is a statement that he is better than Mason Mount. Mason Mount done it in midfield. He's doing it in a front three. And people think Jack Grealish is better than him. Jack Grealish is scoring goals to stop him getting relegated. Mason Mount scoring the goal to put him in the Champions League final. They are built different. They are not the same. That is simple as. They are not the same standard. They're not the same quality. They won't end up being the same quality player. Mason Mount could go on to be one of the all-time greats for Chelsea. All-time greats. One of England's all-time greats. Jack Grealish isn't going to reach that. No way. Mason Mount is, it's like you said, every game he just pops up, gets a goal or an assist, or does something magical. Well, he scored against Porto. He scored against Madrid. To be fair, he had a bit of a dry patch for a while, but he was still scoring goals. He scored in the last 2 rounds of the Champions League. Jack Grealish isn't even going to play in the Champions League. The European Super League could have went on and expanded to 10 Premier League teams, and Aston Villa still wouldn't have got to the Champions League. It's just I'm getting fed up. I saw stuff on Twitter last night. Oh, Grealish is still better than him. No, he's not. No, I'm like, no planet. Even Grealish knows he's not better than Mason Mount, for Christ's sake. Yeah, he was just Mason Mount again. He wasn't prime peak Mason Mount, but he was still good. I give him a 9. I think he was brilliant. Took the goal well. Positioning was good.
Great.
I think it was a brilliant pass across from Pulisic. Absolutely inch perfect. Militao shit himself and didn't even know Mount was behind him. But I thought it was brilliant. It was just a celebration as well. You just proper Chelsea. He can't ever go anywhere. He's just Chelsea, isn't he?
Just touching on that celebration, I think you're absolutely right. They are starting to become a team now. I think you could see how much it sort of meant to them. They're just just a team. Before we've relied on certain players to get us across the line. Who've just been far better than the rest of the team, i.e., like Eden Hazard. Frank Lampard's obviously carried us before as well. Yeah, Drogba, exactly. And now I think there's just 11 solid players out there who want to play for one another. And Mount is the person who sums it up to a T. He works his socks off for the team and he sets the standard. And that's why he will be a Chelsea captain. It's just fact. He will be.
Yeah. Brings the team together. We've got people bringing the team together on just every level at this point. We've got Dave, the old, reliable, been at the club for ages. Thiago Silva's the old, experienced, world-class defender. He's been there, done that, won pretty much everything everywhere he's been, bar the Champions League. We've got that, and then we've got the young lads coming through. Like all the young lads who are like, oh, listen to this old prick. What's he saying now? Oh, he's moaning. But like when you got a lad like Mason Mount, who's 22, 23 years old, screaming his lungs out, like getting people to be in position. That's like you said, he'd be a future Chelsea captain because he's learning to lead now greatly, and he brings that just group of lads we've got going forward together. Like who doesn't like playing with him in the front? Like there's so many teams where they've got players they don't like playing with, but like Pulisic likes playing with them. Havertz, Werner, Giroud, Ziyech, Tammy, all of them. They all like playing with him. He does everything for the team. He's just I just love him, man. A brilliant player.
Yeah, another one who could follow in his path or sort of tracks is Kai Havertz, another young lad. He's got a lot of potential, and he started to show that potential last night, didn't he?
It was different gravy last night, mate. Aside from Kante, I think he was the best player on the pitch. I think he was ridiculous. His movement, I was just looking at him like, where was this for the first 27 games of the season?
Yeah,
like it was just like the header that they're hitting the bar twice. The header hit the bar, the shot that hit the bar for Werner's goal. Just his positioning, getting forward, the little silky touches he would to keep possession when it gets a bit tight and he was getting pressured. I think Ramos did his best to try and put him under duress and like pressure him a little bit and use his experience and his knowledge to take over in a big game. Like that's a big game centre back. That's somebody you don't want to go up against in a big game like that, Sergio Ramos, because one, he's a fucking lunatic.
He is, yeah.
And he, like he did to Mo Salah, like he try and kill you. And then he's experienced. He's been there. He's done that. He's won plenty of Champions Leagues. He hasn't stopped winning stuff for the last 17 years. Like you don't stop. Like he's a big game player. He's an all-time great centre back. Like top 5 for me, top 5 centre back ever. And I think Havertz dealt with him quite well last night. Like touches here and there, getting in the box. Like he didn't seem phased by a player like that. It's like you noticed with certain players, especially the year Liverpool won it and when they were winning the league last year, people were so phased by Van Dijk. And like there are a lot of world-class strikers that fall into that trap of like, he's class, like, he's so good, like I won't be able to get around him. Havertz was just like, oh, fuck it, I'll just do whatever I need to, just drift it. And that's what I like about Havertz. He can be accused of being quite lazy sometimes, but he's just a drifter, isn't he? He just drifts into space and then just darts and makes little runs. Like he doesn't ever seem in too much of a hurry to get anywhere, but he always ends up in the right spot. And the last few weeks, he's just been brilliant there, and he's come on leaps and bounds the last month. I think, I don't know about you, but I thought he was fucking class last night. He was untouchable. No one could really get near him all game.
I'll give him a 9.5 just on the basis of he missed a very good opportunity to sort of settle the game, in my opinion. But yeah, he was absolutely
the one-on-one here with Courtois. Yeah.
I thought he actually showed really good composure to sort of dink it and have like someone out of form. I don't know if you would. Well, I'm not a striker for sure, but if you're out of form, I can't imagine like you fancy going for a chip. You just try and sort of bang it in, don't you? Try and put it in the corner. Like that's just what you taught as a kid. But for him to try and dink it, the superb effort. It was class, and like I said, his movement was class. I thought, going up against Ramos, like you said, he can be a bit of a dirty bugger, and he just handled him fine. No problems at all. It wasn't as if he was getting bullied. If anything, it was the other way around. And then there was just a couple of cheeky little nutmegs in there, and it's like that just summed up his night. That sort of confidence and swagger about him. I'm excited by him, to be honest. I think there was one other opportunity actually where someone put a ball in the box, and I think it was great defending, to be fair, but he didn't have that sort of striker's instinct to get in front of the centre half and anticipate that thing. But he's 21 years old. he's still learning. That will come. But yeah, I think 9.5 is a fair rating for him. And
I agree.
What about his fellow German, Timo Werner? I thought he was very good last night. Deserved his goal. Glad he got a goal. I'm a big fan of his. I know he doesn't score goals as frequently as everyone would like him to or whatnot. But, who cares when he helps you get to a Champions League final, in my opinion. He's works his socks off for the team. And yeah, last night I thought he was pretty good. Pretty good. Even for his goal, he was involved in the build-up. He held off Ramos and sent him to the floor with a 1-2 with Kante. Good positioning to get in a great area to sort of anticipate it coming off the bar. I was almost a bit disappointed when he went off because I thought him and Pulisic would have had a lot of fun on the counter against Real Madrid. But, it was a great goal because Pulisic assisted the goal. But yeah, what were your thoughts on Timo?
Yeah, he was brilliant. He could do with fucking staying on side a little bit more. There was the first one that was pulled back. I knew he was offside, but it's like just you run, like you're so quick, like you don't need to go early. Like Havertz needs to go a little bit earlier with his movement just to like get in behind. But Werner's so rapid, like as you say, he's so quick. Like he doesn't need to go that second earlier. Like especially with like the intelligence that Ramos adds to that like defensive unit. Like they would have been watching for that all game. But yeah, he deserved his goal. He really did. That was his first one from open play in the Champions League this year.
Yeah.
He's coming on not as quickly as obviously as you said everybody would have hoped. But he's coming on. He's got his goals. He gets plenty of assists. Whether he's scared to shoot or not, that's besides the point. They'll pop up on the stat sheet the same way. But yeah, I thought he was pretty good last night. And he offered a lot, and like you said, on the counter attack, yeah, he was brilliant. The goal, the hold up play, I think it's an underrated part of his game for his size and what he's renowned for. He does hold the ball up pretty well, better than Tammy, and Tammy's double the size of him, and that's what he's meant to be good at, and he does it better than Tammy does. And that I think that's where he sort of excels is the little hold up play 1-2s, and he peels off.
Yeah,
You won't catch him, but like when he peels off, you won't catch him. That's sort of the thing that Jamie Vardy's sort of been renowned for. It's just peeling off the defender and then finding space to get in there. So it was his game last night was very reminiscent of like Vardy's like big games that he's had.
Yeah.
Had a player that sort of proved himself in the Premier League quite a lot. The styles aren't too dissimilar. I think Werner's a little bit quicker and a little bit more reliant on sort of scoring goals in the box, whereas Vardy's got the odd fucking long range bang on him. But yeah, I thought Werner was pretty good. I'd give him an 8.8. I wouldn't say quite a 9.
Yeah,
I think a lot of issues. He bottled a couple of and being offside as well. It's just
he put a good cross in actually at the first half as well. He beat. I think that might have been the one I was talking about with Havertz. He beat the sort of defender quite easily, putting a cracking ball on his left peg, which isn't the best. But yeah, you're right. What I like about him is you can tell when he first joined us, you could tell he was just raw pace. Like against Brighton, against Saints, he was just in behind. Won us the penalty against Brighton, and against Saints, he scored a goal, letting it through his legs and burning the defence. I think obviously teams found that out. But you can tell now, like you were saying about his hold-up play, you can tell he's sort of developed that, in my opinion. I don't think he had that earlier in the season. He went down quite easily and whatnot. So yeah, it's just fantastic to see him learning.
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely.
Which he's come out himself and said that, he's not been good enough and he's learning against the big defenders. I can't remember what specifically he said, but, he was the first to put his hands up and say he was struggling against like these bigger players. So fair play to him. I love his honesty. I think the last man we got to talk about is Pulisic. I think obviously Ziyech came on for like 2 minutes, same as Giroud, same with Reece. Pulisic was the only one who really had in it. So they're pretty, I don't think we can give them a rating, but Pulisic came on and I thought had a brilliant impact on the game. I think that was a plan all along to bring him on at that point, just for fresh legs to run at the Real Madrid defence. And it was a bit of a masterstroke. That was he took brilliantly for the goal, really. And he turns up in the big games, which is something we'd love to see. I'm not quite sure what rating to give him, so I'll pass that one on to you. But yeah, thoughts on the big man CP?
CP. Yeah, he was brilliant. Like you said, we obviously messaged in the group chat at half time about it, and we sort of said, "Oh, when's Pulley going to come on?" We were a bit annoyed he didn't start. For me, I would have started him over Havertz, but I'm fucking delighted Tuchel never did that. Yeah, I just thought he was just brilliant. Like in what he had to do, he's sort of learning. As we said last week, he's learning like this is his role in the team. He's probably not one of the ideal front three. He's still sort of finding his place in the team, but he's doing everything he can with whatever situation gets sort of thrown in front of him. So it is admirable to see that that's what he's doing with his game, and he's developing and he's taking it in his stride a little bit more and not being a stroppy bastard about it. And he come on, he put good impact, he made some good runs, absolutely brilliant to sort of square up Courtois and have him in all sorts of trouble, and then to play a pinpoint ball back to Mount. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So I'd say I'd give him an 8. I wouldn't give anyone less than that. Just out of he made the exact impact he was brought on to do, and whether it was in half hour or whatever it was, he still did it. He still got an assist, and he still put their defenders in all sorts of trouble. Like running at like Ferland Mendy and running at Nacho, they were shitting themselves every time he got the ball.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him as well. Not just saying that about every Chelsea player, because it's interesting how Hudson-Odoi had a sort of a brilliant sort of bit of form sort of around Christmas time and can't get a look in at all now. So yeah, I mean, I think there might be something a bit kind of wrong with him. He's obviously got some sort of attitude problem or something, and he's obviously also quite not good enough. But I'm a big fan of his. But when you've got players like Pulisic and Werner performing how they are at the moment, it's hard to see him getting in the team at all. Maybe it'd be good to see Hudson-Odoi get like a season on loan next year. A team like Saints, we could play 38 games, like play every week in the Prem, and I don't know what your thoughts on that. Bit off topic, but I was thinking about it last night that he's rarely gets a game at the moment.
It's just like what I've said before, mate. He's just got to play better than everybody else. He's got to train harder than everybody else. Got to prove himself, and he hasn't done. So he doesn't deserve the spot. Like Pulisic got benched for however many games, and he comes on and starts due to injuries, and he scores. So he starts getting more game time. Maybe not starting, but off the bench. Ziyech gets a couple goals. Obviously, he got one. He got one against
City,
Porto, and he got one against City. And like it was like he'd done that, so he gained his spot for a few weeks. He's out already. Havertz has come in the last few weeks, been brilliant. Timo Werner's got a few goals here and there. Like recently, he's picked up and been a bit more consistent. We've not waited as many games between goals as we typically had. Like he's just got to put in, and I don't think a loan will do it for him now. I think he's been linked away with a move to a big club like Bayern for so long. I think this summer
it's kind of lost
could
his head
really be his evaluation time about what he wants best for his career. Saints would be a good move for him. It really would. It would be like Saints or West Ham would be another one.
Yeah, West Ham would be good.
I think with the prospect of playing in Europe next year, I think Cal would really benefit from that. I think he would fit into that team wonderfully with like if they do keep Lingard and like Antonio together. I think those three going forward would be a brilliant core. Then they're not like Antonio's a little bit older, obviously, and Lingard is reaching on to like his late 20s, but that little spark from Cal I think that would complement that team quite well. But it just depends. Like he just needs to sort his shit out. Like if you're not playing better than Havertz, you're not playing better than Werner, you're not getting an over Mount. So there's one spot already missing anyway. And like he's not even been trusted to play right wing back. Like even Reece, we left Reece out and put Aspi out there for the games against Madrid. Like he's got to find his role and be good at it. If he has to be a right wing back, he's got to be a right wing back.
Yeah,
like, that's just how things are going to go. Like sometimes it's not ideal, but you got to roll with the punches and take the minutes you can get. But there's not really a spot in our team open really, and if it is, we've just got a couple players rotating in and out. Like left back, right. Back up. In and out. You can't play centre mid because you can't tell Jorginho, and even then Kovacic would get in there. And the front three, He doesn't show enough going forward to break into that front three. He's more winger in like a 4 in midfield. Like he would be good at like a really basic 4-4-2 team, the big strike. Like
Burnley, yeah. Oh, might have lost Kieran there for a second. There we are. Yeah, Kieran, can you hear me, mate? Yeah, I think so.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't see you though.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll start to wrap it up anyway, mate. We'll just touch briefly on Man City at the Etihad.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't.
I can see you now. Right, Man City at the Etihad at the weekend. We beat them sort of a couple of weeks ago now, wasn't it? FA Cup semi-final, and we were better than them. I think they're a brilliant team. They're brilliant against PSG on Tuesday. But for me, because they play with no striker, that just suits us even more because we got a back three. I think that's what they're missing. And if anyone's going to beat them, I think it will be us. But it's going to be a tough game because I think, do they need a point to win the league? I believe, or something like that. So yeah, it's an exciting game to go into. It would be interesting to see if Tommy rotates the team at all or goes with the same. I don't know. I think he'll have to make some changes. I think Reece will come in. I think defence will pretty much stay the same. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's sort of a precursor to 23 days time in Istanbul or at Villa Park. If you've seen the report today that Aston Villa have offered to host it. I've got a lot of confidence in us. I think City will do that. I think they want to wrap up the league as soon as possible. But on the form we're on, I don't think we're just going to roll over and let them. I'm confident. I think we'll get something out of the game. I'm more bothered about getting something out of the game in a few weeks' time. I'm not really bothered about it as long as we can keep. Like, it's not even worried about keeping top four now. Like, we've got a very strong chance of winning the Champions League. Like, we're the two best teams playing in Europe this year so far. Not based on league performance, but like in Europe. Like, we've been like, no one's really tested us that much. Maybe Sevilla in the first game in the group, not the 4-0 the other one.
Yeah,
I think that's the toughest test we've had in the Champions League.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So
mate.
It's just going up against a good side. I'm confident. I think it will be a draw though. I think it'll be quite a cagey game after the like emotional and physical battle that was the last couple of nights. Like, historic for Man City, obviously getting through to their first Champions League final. I think Pep's really focused on that. He knows he's sort of got the league in the bag. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of team he puts out.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got a few pretty big games coming up to secure top four, then that, the final and the FA Cup final. But yeah, I reckon 1-0. I think 1-0 at the weekend.
Yeah. I agree, mate. I agree. Anything else you want to add before we finish this episode?
No, mate, it's up the fucking Blues, and we're going to win the Champions League again.
Up the CHELS. Well, thank you very much for listening, guys. Apologies that we didn't get an episode out over the weekend. Unfortunately, like previously mentioned, me and Kieran both work. He works in a pub. I work behind a bar, so it's a bit difficult to either watch every game or get the time to do podcast uploads. Hopefully, we'll get some more coming. But yeah, cheers for the support and up the CHELS.
Up the CHELS.